Dark Ghost Stories.
In the early 1990s, we lived in a remote, forest-surrounded town in the Canadian province of Quebec. Our nearest neighbor was 3 kilometers away. Power outages were frequent, and in winter, the roads would become completely inaccessible. That year's winter was especially harsh. I was 6 years old. My siblings were 4 and 2. One freezing night, we were all huddled around the wood stove, sleeping close to each other. Outside, the wind howled like a hungry wolf, and the wooden roof creaked with each gust. Then we were awakened by a sound. A deep, raspy voice echoed from downstairs. It was a man's voice, speaking to himself in a language none of us recognized. Harsh, guttural words spit out like curses. Each syllable seemed to shake the walls. My father grabbed his rifle and whispered, "Don't make a sound." Then he slowly descended the creaking stairs. We were frozen in place, clinging to our blankets. No shouts, no confrontation, just silence. And sometimes those eerie murmurs continued. After what felt like a lifetime, my father came back upstairs. His face was pale as snow. His eyes were distant and hollow. "Just a mouse," he whispered. But we knew he was lying. The next morning, I begged my mother to tell me the truth. Finally, she caved and spoke in a hushed voice. When my father reached the living room, he saw a barefoot man, his clothes muddy, pacing back and forth like a madman. He was clawing at the air with his hands and mumbling in that same strange tongue. But he had no face, no eyes, no mouth, no features at all. Just smooth, pale skin stretched across where his face should have been. Shaking, my father asked, "Are you okay?" The man froze. He slowly turned his head toward my father. Even without eyes, my father knew the man could see him. He panicked, reached for the light switch, turned on the lights, and the man was gone. No footprints, no broken windows, no open doors, just cold and silence. Later that day, one of our neighbors visited. Over tea, she casually mentioned an accident the previous night. "A young man died," she said. "His car slid off the road and crashed into a tree. A branch went straight through his skull." My mother and I stared at each other in horror. Could it be? Since that night, none of us ever set foot in the living room after dark. But sometimes, when the wind howls just right, we still hear faint mumbling downstairs. And when we turn on the lights, no one is there. But something was. And maybe it still is.
Friends can subscribe to my channel. Open the notification bell and be aware of my videos. Thank you.